Hello princesses! Today I'm going to be doing a quick little get ready with me while I have a ramble about hair stuff. Basically this video was supposed to be what I've learned about my hair this year, but it just kind of turned into like a whole backstory about why I didn't know about my hair. So there's the backstory. But if you'd like to see how this makeup look was created and just listen to me ramble in the background while you do some housework, because that's what I do with everybody else's videos, then please just keep watching. So I'm going to be starting off with my cushion today, which is going to be from Bakehouse. This is the Ultra Fit Serum cushion and I have mine in the shade 21. So a little bit of history with my hair, because I don't think that, at least on YouTube, you've seen very much of what I would consider like my natural hair. Which is, you know, obviously non-treated for me. So when I was little, I always remember having a lot of hair, like a lot of hair, and it was always really like big, like frizzy, and I would always get told to brush my hair and I was always getting like head lice because I always had a lot of hair. I think from like an early age I kind of learned that I could hide my birthmark underneath my hair, because I have got a birthmark on that side of my face here. Kind of just looks like a shadow most of the time, to be honest, but having long hair obviously does help that illusion that it's not there. And as a child you don't want to, I don't want to say hide, but like you don't want to advertise the fact that you're different a lot of the time. It was just easier, I think, to always have my hair down, or a lot of the time have my hair down, and then people wouldn't pick on me for having a birthmark all the time, which was nice. That's what I assume anyway. Like I think I pretty much like blocked out a bunch of that part of my childhood, because people were not nice. But kids are kids and kids are not nice. Kids are still not nice even though I'm an adult. As I got older I was into like the emo kid and scene phase. So my hair as a teenager, I of course had my hair super thinned out and super layered. So I had like layers that were like an inch, 2 inches long at the top of my head, and I had huge bangs, like they were massive. I was never allowed like the super long bottom and the super short top though. Like my parents would not have had that, and honestly looking back, probably a good choice, parents. I would have loved to have raccoon tails as a teenager though. Like, oh, I just look back at them and I'm like, that's some nostalgia there. So I had super thin hair, super layered, and what I would use to style it in my late teens was like mousse, except I would put like a bunch of mousse in, scrunch it up, and it would become kind of like wavy, which was really cool. But nobody taught me that I should like crunch it up afterwards, so like scrunch out the crunch, which is something that I have learned now, because you're not supposed to leave your hair looking and feeling crunchy. You're supposed to let it dry and then make it nice and soft again. I obviously missed that part of the memo. I blame the hairdressers. So that was the only way I was really taught to care for my hair. So it was to brush it, and then when it was sort of cut in a way that there was a little less of it basically. When it was thinned out there was a lot less hair to work with, was to put mousse into it and then scrunch it up. And that was it. So then through university, since I was making my own decisions, I was like, I'm gonna color my hair. Yeah, that didn't work out well for me because my hair is like almost black, and so to get any kind of color into it you have to bleach it, and I wasn't really like, the hair knowledge back then was not as easily like you couldn't just find it on TikTok. Like we don't have TikTok. Yes, we had YouTube, but like there weren't hairdressers on there really explaining it in a friendly way that was easy to consume by people who don't know anything about hair. So I did not know that when you bleach hair it'll go from being like black almost to red to orange to disgusting yellow, and then eventually to white. My brain thought that you could just put bleach in your hair and it'll go kind of like a light brown. It was just like, you know, a lightener. No, it's not how that works. So I actually had my hair bleached when I was in Taiwan, and it was terrible, like atrocious, really bad. They kind of like bleached. I asked her like what was, you know, the baby balayage had just come into fashion, and I was like, that would be cute, like a little bit lighter on the tips and then nothing really on the scalp. And so they bleached 4 strands around the back of my head and that was it. And I was like, what? Like, it looked terrible. Anyway, so that was the experience. I had to go back and have it done again because I was like, this looks nothing like the photo. And I was not pleased. I literally cried, not in the salon, but like outside the salon, because I was like, I sat there for a whole day. It was around Chinese New Year's, and I paid a bunch of money, and I've got 4 strands that are bleached and nothing else. It looked the same because they didn't cut it so that you could see the bleach, so the bleach was just stuck in the middle of my head, and I was like, yeah, rage. So yeah, no, I went back again, and then they bleached my scalp, and then it kind of went a little bit lighter, but not really. But it still wasn't what I asked for, which was a balayage. And so I just had these 4 stripes of bleach, and yeah, slightly lighter here. I have to find some photos, but like, it just really didn't look that much different. But after the second time, I was like, you know what, it is what it is. Fast forward a little bit, I came home and I quickly went on Accutane, which you guys would have seen me do on YouTube. And I could not do anything to my hair really in terms of colouring. Like, I just had to leave it as it was. You cannot bleach your hair when you're taking Accutane, otherwise you run the risk of absolutely burning your scalp, which is not cute at all. So I just kind of left it, and I was like, it'll be what it'll be, it'll grow out, and then I'll get it fixed. And then I attempted to get it fixed with one salon, and they just made it more orange, and I was like, what? And then another salon, and they made it more orange and then more blonde, and explained to me how bleach works, which was, you know, excellent. At that time I'd kind of figured it out by then, but it was helpful to know that what I was hearing online was correct, that your hair does have to go through different shades of toast before it gets to white, which was frustrating, but we'd already begun the process, so I was already invested in it. So I kind of just kept bleaching it, and as I bleached it, the quality of the hair just got worse and worse, obviously, because when you're bleaching it, it is damaging it, and the hair kind of just became like limp noodles. And for the most part, I would style it with braids so that I was able to get like a little bit of wave, or I would just straighten it. And that was like the past like 4 years. And so as a adult, I had never really tried to work with my hair's natural texture before, because as an adult, I'd always been ruining it with bleach, and there was no curl to work with. So I decided, like last year, maybe a year before, that I would just let my hair grow back out to its natural colour, because I kind of missed it, which is obviously very dark. And as it grew, I noticed that the hair was quite wavy, like the dark hair. Obviously the blonde stuff still looked like disgusting limp noodles. And so I was quite intrigued with what I could do with the hair, because obviously I hadn't really tried to do anything with it before, being that it was always limp noodles. Or I was a teenager and didn't know what to do with it, and there were no resources for me to use at that point in time. I decided when I was growing the hair out, like, you know, this year, that I would try and explore some curly stuff, because my hair naturally has some kind of texture, and then, you know, maybe if I did a little bit more stuff with it, maybe it would have a nicer texture that I'd actually like and not want to pull off my head all of the time. It was definitely around about the time when people on TikTok started being like, I never knew I had curly hair, and every time I looked at those TikToks, I'm like, girl, there is no way that you didn't just brush your hair out just then to be like, I never knew I had curly hair, and then you do like one curly girl thing and your hair has beautiful, no. But you know, they do get me interested in it, so thanks, I guess. So I dipped my toes into the curly community, and then immediately took the toes back out, because the curly community is fairly mean. Like, I thought the beauty community was bad. Oh man, the curly community is like something else. There's just like, you know, you join a few Facebook groups or read YouTube comments on YouTubers' pages, and just people are so mean to each other over like hair. So I kind of just lurked in the curly community for a bit because I was too scared to say anything. Most of the time I would not comment on like Facebook posts or anything anyway, like even for my own friends. Like the best you're going to get is a like. I am just not a person who does a lot of social media stuff, as you might notice from my dead social media accounts for this channel. Nobody engages with me. I don't engage with anybody. What's the point in doing anything with it? There is no point. Yeah, so I just sat and watched the curly community and tried to learn some things while staying in my own lane by not saying anything. And y'all, that's not hard to do. I think that, yeah, most of the curly community arguments are most definitely based around like curl patterns. Why are you guys so like, I don't understand it. So here's something that I've learned, which might seem really obvious but was not to me. There are different types of curls and curl patterns, and they give them a number and a letter, and I think I fall in the 2 range. Probably not a 1 because I've got a little bit too much movement for that, but definitely not a 3. But I don't really know what my letter is. And I'm not going to post on those groups to get someone to help me. I'm just going to sit there and be like, well, I'm a 2, somewhere in there. And to me, it doesn't particularly matter what letter I am because it doesn't seem to help me much to know what that letter is. And that's okay. So when other people come onto the Facebook groups and they're recommending product or methods, if they have wavy hair or 2-type hair, then it's a post that I would look at and I would consider trying those products. But if they have 3-type hair, then I probably wouldn't try those products unless I was really interested in them maybe, because they probably won't suit my hair because we don't have the same curl type. Does that make sense? And definitely not for type 4 hair. So if someone has type 4 hair, then they're definitely going to be using products that are not suitable for me. So I can read their post and I can appreciate what they're saying, but I'm not going to try and use their products because that doesn't make any sense. However, some people are definitely not thinking along the same lines as what I am, and will continuously try and use products specifically made for like for hair that is barely a 1 or a 2, and then that causes tension, and then yeah, lots of Facebook arguing. So far I've learned that I have type 2 hair, and I've learned a bit of the lingo of curly hair talk, which is really fun, because when you go into like these curly community groups, because honestly that's where a lot of the information is at, I would say, like Reddit groups, Facebook groups. There's a few blogs that I've read as well, but I generally find that Facebook and Reddit groups a little bit more helpful because there's usually a bit of discourse, so comments and, you know, like people offering up help, along with the people who are just there to argue apparently, but yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I find that these kind of groups are definitely more helpful, and there's a lot of different lingo. So I had no idea what plopping was, or scrunching the crunch, or praying hands. Like there are so many like sayings that I have no idea that they existed at all. Things that I learned that work well for my hair. Plopping works quite well, but only for like 30 minutes to an hour. My hair doesn't dry fast, which I think means that it has something to do with the porosity of my hair. It does not dry fast, and if I leave it in the little turban for plopping, it will just sit there for hours and be wet, and I'll take it out and it'll still be fully wet. Diffusing works really well for my hair, but that also takes like a full hour. Like it's so much effort. I kind of had the assumption that having my natural textured hair would be easy. It's not, or at least not as easy as I thought it would be. So I diffuse the hair for a while. Sometimes I let it dry a little bit as well, and using a curl cream, love a curl cream, and a gel. So when I first saw people putting gel in their hair, I was like, what? Why? Like, why are you trying? Because to me, gel is like something that you'd use to slick down like little hairs for ballet, or spike up boys' hair, or short hair in general, not just boys' hair. Boys don't, you know what I mean. But I was like, okay, gel on curly hair. on long curly hair. What? But no, it is legit. So what I've been doing at the moment is straight after the shower, I will use a curl defining cream. My favorite is the Redken Curl Curvaceous Curls, I think, at the moment. And I will put that, a bunch of that into my hair and kind of like use praying hands, which is like this little like patting method. So it's like that. And then kind of like give it a little bit of like a lift and scrunch. Then I will put gel in my hair, like a bunch of gel all through my hair. Probably not on the scalp, but through the curly parts of my hair. And then I will diffuse it. And then I will sort of like make it almost dry because it just takes forever. Wander around the house for a bit with these crunchy looking curls. They look like gelled curls, like that's what they look like. And then when it's fully dry, you scrunch them and then they become like nice curls. This is like 4-day-old hair at the moment, so it's not the nicest right now, but like they just look like soft little like wavy curly waves. And the gel is gone. The gel kind of helps it to hold the curl while it dries. Otherwise, if I don't use the gel and I just use the curl cream, I'll get some nice curls and then it'll go like that because it gets frizzy super easily. So having the gel helps them to stay stuck together while they dry, and then once they're dry, they stay stuck together without the gel, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. So it's been a really big learning experience, but I still have a lot of stuff to learn. I also cut my hair, which you guys might have seen in another video, and I know that this is not short to most people's standards, but for me this is the shortest I've had my hair in over 10 years. So for me it is very short, and it has gone like really nice and curly now because most of the blonde is gone, and the blonde was just too damaged. And before that, I just had no idea what I was doing with my hair. So yeah, she's looking like cute. I will go fix it though, hold on, because I need to fix this and refresh this, which just basically involves wetting my hair and sometimes putting a bit of product in it. So it is going to come back and look a little bit wet. I wanted to show you guys what it sort of looks like when it was dry, but yeah, give me a sec. So this is how the hair is looking, which is pretty cute. It's still a bit wet because that's how I get it to not go fluffy, because I do not wash it very often, and I still don't wash it very often. So to keep the curlies looking nice and like wavy still, yeah, it works better to just sort of like dampen it down and sort of squish it up a bit like that. Then the curls will stick themselves back together, which is like really cool. So that's kind of what I've learned and what I've experienced so far coming into this community where honestly I don't feel super welcome because I don't have curly hair. I have wavy hair as far as I know, and I don't know anything about it. So I'm really thankful to the people in the community that have been so gracious with their help, because I have honestly learned so much in the last, I don't know, maybe like 6 months about my own hair that I had no idea about, and I am in my 20s. I just didn't know about it. That's another thing that I learned. I don't brush my hair every day anymore. I brush my hair when I'm in the shower, when it's got conditioner in it, and that's it. Like going from brushing it like morning and night every day to, you know, otherwise it would get knots. I thought that when I would not brush it every day, it was going to get so matted. Like I used to get like matted knots in the back of my hair, and it doesn't. And I lose so much less hair because of that. And I'm just like, I know that some people are going to be like, that's just common sense or something, but like it really, I had no idea. So yeah. So if you guys would like to see me talk about some hair products and my experiences with them, let me know if that is something that you're interested in. They would not be Kbeauty products or JBeauty products because I find that in general, they do not work for my hair, and I can only assume it's because I have wavy hair and not straight hair. I don't know. I am not a hair expert. I'm not even a makeup or a skincare expert. Really good at musical instruments though, so. But thank you guys so much for watching and listening to me ramble on. All of the products that I used will be listed down below because I realized halfway through that I stopped talking about them. Because like my train of thought was just like here. You know that like meme where they're trying to get to the point? Yeah, that was me. But let me know if you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you in the next one. Bye!